All right, everybody, welcome back live at Drew's house. Another edition. Hope everybody is doing okay as we wrap our way through the spring here. Weather's getting nice, all that good stuff, and I know we're all excited about that. With that, we have one thing that I always get excited about. You all know how big I am to the music scene around here. We have a lot of local musicians on, and one of the guys who's become a staple of the music scene around here is our guest, Joe Crowley, joining us today. First time. Joe owns the Breakaway up on Route 1 in Danvers. You've probably seen the big sign. If you haven't been in the place, go check it out. Joe, hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. Welcome on the show. So we have a lot to talk about. You have had a, well, let's say a roller coaster of a year. Let's start with last year. Pandemic shuts everything down. What was that moment like for you?
So we, it was like being on the 100th floor of a building and having all the floors just come out from underneath you. It was no parachute, nothing that could have, we couldn't have been trained for anything worse. We started Breakaway 5 years ago, and it really took us 4 years to brand it. It took us 4 years to become a serious player in the live music scene. It took us 4 years for people to have confidence in our function business. And we knew it was going to take that. It took 4 years worth of construction. And it was a 5-year plan when we bought it. And in our 5th year, the floor came out.
Man, it was crazy for so many places. But I mean, you were like the epitome of the business that got hit hard. I mean, you had musicians in, you do restaurants and you do food and all that stuff. I mean, for you, the whole place just shut down. And I know you got reimaginative a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about that. But what is that first thought? Is it like, is the first thought optimistic, positive? How do we get ourselves going in some sort of direction? Or is it like, oh my goodness, the world is crashing?
I've been in the business for almost 30 years. I own a very successful pizzeria in Moholland. And I took that success to buy the property on Route 1 and to recreate a music scene up there. And I prided myself on optimism and staying ahead of the game and not getting caught with your guard down or your pants down, not being caught in a situation. And the day they canceled the St. Patty's Day parade, I was alone in the office. We're closed on Mondays, and it was a Monday. And I called my general manager and then my wife, and I was just like, I don't know what to tell you. We're in trouble. And they never saw that side of me. And it was just like, we had to cancel 300 private functions for the year. We refunded deposits that legally we weren't obligated to, but I couldn't keep deposit money. And we started canceling shows and refunding tickets, and the money was going the wrong way. And it was just, we thought it would be, a couple of months, we're going to get hurt. We reopened. And the longer it took, the optimism just, it was gone. It was, I never thought that Breakaway would see another day.
Really? You thought you were done?
We had, come September, we were doing outdoor shows. I've always been a healthy guy, 50 years old. I suffered a major heart attack September 2nd. And it was life-changing. I mean, it was major. I was very touch and go. I actually was gone for a few minutes. And my recovery from that compounded with, we were probably $400,000 in debt at Breakaway. My health had deteriorated overnight just as quickly as the pandemic came. And I said to my wife on Christmas Day, we're selling. We don't have a choice. We're not going to come back. And it was almost like it was meant to be. The skies kind of opened. I had some great relationship with my bank, Middlesex Federal in Somerville. I met with the president. I said, we're in trouble. I'm in trouble. They worked with us. And, for about 6 weeks, it was sitting at a desk and applying for grants and loans and refinancing and working with the SBA. The musicians were calling us one after another saying, please, don't give up. If there's anything we can do to help. And a lot of them have came and played free or are scheduled to play free. And, I reached the point where physically I felt better and financially I felt like it was within grasp. And that was the last month we've gone for it and we've reopened.
Wow. So it's been that kind of month for you. Let's go back to the heart attack real quick. I know you don't want to play the role of doctor, but I mean, I'm sure the stress didn't help with all this, right?
Going through rehab, I really learned from a medical point what stress can do to you. And it played a huge, I'm usually pretty good at absorbing things, and I'm the optimistic in the room, and I'm not a worry ward. But I'll tell you, the end of last summer, I was at the end of my rope. I was stressed. I was upset with the government. I was upset with our state. Nothing made sense. The communication was terrible. And I let it really get to me, and I really shouldn't have. And it did play a major factor in my heart attack.
Again, we're joined here by Joe Crowley of the Breakaway in Danvers. So now let's fast forward to some of the good parts of all this here. You're still going, and I know you're still going strong because I hear some of those concerts out there, those outside concerts. I live in the neighborhood a little bit, so I heard the show going the other night. It seems like people are loving it. Talk to me a little bit about the outside idea. Who came up with it? You guys started doing like full-fledged concerts, social distance style tables out there. It's quite the incredible setup. Really almost, I guess, in the parking lot on Route 1, right?
At the end of last summer, we held off on it because the communication was that we were going to be getting back inside, or we were going to be getting something. And the longer that the summertime went, it wasn't until August that we did them. Now, when we did them last year, people were extremely happy. But I got to be honest with the infrastructure-wise, you're talking about building a stage, a sound system, a light system, waitressing outside, bringing portable bars outside, moving product. It was incredibly hard. It was a tough thing to do on the fly. We finally shut it down in October. But when we got to the point that we said we are going to reopen, we did it again, but we're doing it a lot better. You can be in your square, which is a painted area, and you can QR code food, and we get it in the kitchen. We know what square you're on. We can bag it up. We can bring it out for you. If you want to come early and get a seat and come inside and have dinner, we've reopened the club for dinner. So before, you get a limited seating in the tavern or the patio. So we've expanded that area. My waiters and waitresses have handhelds that they can take your order more efficiently. At the end of last summer, you were waiting an hour to get fed, and it was nothing we could do. It was very difficult. We weren't set up infrastructure-wise. So we corrected all that, and we brought back the concerts themselves. People loved, and that's all. We recreated that. And it was a little cold last weekend, but the weather is getting warmer. This weekend's going to be warmer. People are so happy. They come out, they can stand up, they can dance. They've been obeying the rules. The bands are super psyched to stop playing again. Even though we can come inside with live singing, we're still restricted inside. So we plan on having the outdoor concerts right through to August 1st.
It's funny, man. People are they don't even really care about the cold that much, do they? People are just eager to get outside, and they'll behave and have fun. That's what I'm finding anyway.
Yeah, we No Shoes Nation played this weekend, the Kenny Chesney tribute band. It was packed. People had the coats on. It did get chilly up there, but they're coming out. And already we were expecting 20 degrees warmer this weekend. No possibility of rain. It works itself out. We always have the backup plan. If rain's forecasted, we can bring the band inside and do limited capacity. And so at least now with the state regulations lifting a little bit, but we still want to be outside, because outside we can put 200-300 people. It's just much better. You can stand up, dance. Inside, they want us to limit it. They at your table. So we're going to kind of go with what this summer, but the light at the end of the tunnel is there. And we shut it down in October because there was no light at the end of the tunnel. And it's a different atmosphere now. We know we're coming out of COVID. We know people are vaccinated. We know that there's an end in sight. Now, the end looks like it's going to be August 1st. And, we're gonna take advantage and bring the music back live as much as we can.
You mentioned being upset with the government and stuff, and I know that so many owners and so many people in your position were feeling that way. Like, just give me some sort of lifeline, work with us a little bit, was kind of the reaction we kept getting. And I wonder, just now with these, even if you have to go inside, you have some limited capacity, it must just make you guys as a team just thrilled to be working again. Just you're driving in the right direction now, just being able to do something. You'll work with these limitations. That must make you feel good.
You know, it does, because last summer, it was almost like, let's just tell them nothing and see how they survive. And as we got into the colder weather, we're like, wait a minute, what's the plan? What's the plan? And nothing, crickets. And, you know, a lot of us just shut it down, because we said, if we don't shut it down, we're going to lose the place. You know, we couldn't afford to stay open any longer. And it's not like that now. It's a lot more on a, I will tell you, I got a notification yesterday that the state wants $5,000 in my account by Thursday. They jacked up the payroll taxes almost 1,500%, and they're in session right now. My state legislators in there asking why. There's still a lot of hiccups that we, as a business owner, you're sitting there going, guys, please get it together. And these are things that we're still facing adversity, but it's not like it was last summer. Last summer was like, you didn't want to peek in the tunnel because the train was going to hit you in the face. Now you're looking through and you see the other side. So you're right. The atmosphere is different. People have come back to work, although we couldn't find cooks. They wanted to stay on unemployment. So I was cooking for 3 weeks, getting our business back up and running. It's
when was the last time you were cooking in the kitchen?
You know, I've always prided myself on going in there, but since we expanded and bought Breakaway, I tried to stay out, but I was forced back in. And I'm not alone. If you see the news stories, a lot of people are collecting unemployment and want to stay on unemployment through Labor Day. And for businesses like us, for people down the Cape, you're sitting there in a panic, like we can't find help. And it's something that the government's, it's tough. I wouldn't want to be in their position. It is getting better, but we're still calling our state reps and our people and saying, guys, please, you know, let's go. People are coming back to work. Get it together so that we can be successful long term.
You know, you mentioned earlier, and this is a point that I keep hearing about, and again, we're joined here by Joe Crowley over at the Breakaway in Danvers. Go check the place out up on Route 1. A lot of space outside and inside for that matter, but these outside shows have been really getting going here again. You mentioned the musicians and how fascinating, because I've heard so many theater owners, so many bar owners, I've heard this time after time from all the people I've talked to, and they all say the musicians were great. I mean, they were going through a hard time too. Musicians have lost the places to play. But you actually had musicians reach out to you and say, how can I help? Offer to play for free. I mean, that's as cool as it gets, isn't it?
You know, we during the pandemic, when I had my heart attack, when we had to close, I constantly got messages from dozens of musicians of support. And we let them come and rehearse at Breakaway when we were closed. We did some, you know, live stream for Facebook and let people say, hey, we're still here. And, you know, it's a partnership with, these are talented, very few bands are doing this full time, but some are. And, you know, whether it's doing it full time or whether it's their passion, these guys are great. They've been so supportive. They want a place to play when this is over. And they've come to us and said, whatever it takes to keep you around, please, Joe, don't sell the place, because we had a deal on the table to sell it, and it probably would have been condos. And we backed out, and we said, no, we're going to give it a try. You know, we'll see where we come out in a year, but we're going to give it a good effort, because the live music scene's special. The musicians are super talented, and we've raised the level of musicianship at Breakaway to a level where we have national, regional, and local bands. And we have a game plan for that coming back. We want that level of music, live music played there. And they're unbelievable. The music community is super, super supportive, and just a bunch of chill people that, you know, this is their passion and they want it.
I think it's just great to solidify that relationship too between the place you play and the musician. And I think it's just a cool relationship that those two were there for each other in so many ways throughout this pandemic. And, you know, obviously I'm sure someday when you can return the favor to a musician who needs a place to play, I'm sure you'll do that. I mean, it's a great relationship. Yeah,
no, it's a partnership, but that's how we built Breakaway 5 years ago. When we took it over, bands, we would call and say, do you want to play? And they'd say no. And that's pretty unusual because there's not a lot of places, but the reputation was just so, the building was just so bad and so mismanaged. And when we took it over, we built those relationships and we just created such a great scene. And I consider any musician that plays up there to be our partner for that night and for our long term. I mean, they want to play in a packed room. We want a packed room. And we want them to feel like it's their home. And COVID's really solidified that to say, you know, as we go forward, we're going to do it together.
You know, you must feel great too as a part of the community, because like you said, I mean, you're only 5 years into this place. And I think when you see all these people come out to these shows and, you know, battle weather that you say might be, you know, slightly cool on a night and, you know, that sort of thing, but supporting your business, supporting, you know, a Danvers staple now, that must make you feel pretty proud. It's like it's the people want this place to stay, so they come out and support that business in Danvers.
Yeah, I'll tell you that the town of Danvers worked with us. The people of Danvers have been very supportive through messages. And once we reopened a month ago, it's been busy. You know, people are booking private events. They're coming in for dinner. They're coming in for lunch on the patio. And everyone says, Joe, it's that age group. It's that, you know, I would say 40, 50 base, maybe late 30 to like, it's that, all right, we have kids now. You know, we're not single. We're not out on the town. We have obligations, but when we get a night out, we want to go to Breakaway because we know there's going to be live music. We can meet our friends there. It's just a fun place, and it's right down the street. And they've just said to us from the beginning, please do whatever you got to do, and we'll be back. And they've come back.
And not every place does live music too. I think there's a misconception sometimes that live music is pretty much everywhere you go. Certain towns are better, certain areas are better, and I love what you guys have done. Always a chance to go see some live music, almost on any given night. You could probably give me the exact percentages, but
yeah, you know, our open mic has been down now for 15 months, and that was always a great place to come see local musicians, hang out, jam. We'll be getting that back together after Labor Day. We're going to reformat it a little bit. Friday and Saturday is our big bands, but we've done Sunday fundraisers. Thursday night, we do a patio gig or a smaller type band. So, you know, with the open mic, you're talking 4 or 5 nights a week. You can come in and hear live music. We've done music school concerts, so we get a lot of the local kids that are up and coming. Their music school do a showcase for the parents on an off day. So we really branded ourselves as being a live entertainment venue, live music venue, and it really can be 5 nights a week.
Let me ask you, through the heart of this whole thing, I know you know other business owners that were probably going through a lot of the same stuff you were. Do you guys ever like bounce stuff off each other, or even just somebody to talk to, like, man, how are you getting through this, or something like that?
Yeah, you know, Anthony down at Mix 360 in Malden and myself, we knew each other, but we weren't close. And in the last 15 months, we've formed a great relationship because it's constantly, hey, did you get this link? Did you have this contact? Do you know what's going on? There's other places, other music venues up in Drake at the Boat. He just opened right before the pandemic, and then boom. And they invested in a great place up in the Merrimack Valley. And so, you know, there's 4 or 5 of us that have got together during the pandemic, and we vowed to work together as we come out of it to really cultivate a great live music scene and support each other.
That's great stuff. Again, the Breakaway live music, go check it out when you can, whether it be in these upcoming weekends or at any time during the summer. Joe, I do wanted to ask you a couple things real quickly. I want to do rapid fire with you. We always have to meet our guests at the end of our show. First thing that comes to mind, you're going to give me an answer. You want to do that right now?
Sure, let's do it.
Quick ones. Ready? So here you go. This is how we meet our guests. Favorite musician?
You talking overall or local?
Yeah, overall.
I've always been a huge fan of Marvin Gaye.
All right, good answer there. That might be the first Marvin Gaye we've had. I like that very much. Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Probably Godfather.
God, do you get specific or the original?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. All right, very good. Favorite venue that is not Breakaway?
Favorite venue? You know, I love anything on the water. I love to go sit by the ocean and listen to live music. I'm trying to think. I love being outside. Love listening to live music. I don't think I really have a favorite to go to, but I love to be by the water.
All right, we'll see. People, you mentioned the business that you originally had. We'll see what your answer is to this one. Favorite food?
Before or after my heart attack?
Ooh, I didn't see that one coming. Let's do both.
Okay. I'm a huge Italian eater. I love Italian food. I used to love Chinese food. I'm not allowed to eat it anymore. I've actually been cooking at home a lot the last 7 months, and I've got a diet that really comes from the earth and natural, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm enjoying the energy, and I'm down 50 pounds, and so my taste is changing. I love cooking at home and working with some natural, grown out of the ground foods.
Doctor's orders.
Doctor's orders.
So I didn't get the pizza answer there. So tell us a little bit about the pizza shop. How did it all start? How'd you get started with that?
You know, I was a kid in high school going to Moholland Catholic. I was the youngest of 5, and I used to have to clean the school in order to pay the tuition. We didn't come from any sort of financial grounds. I had a great family, tight family, but we grew up tight financially, and I didn't want to clean the school anymore. So I went over to Papagino's and I got a pizza making job at 14. And all through high school and college and getting a business degree, I used that to support myself. And I realized that was really the only talent I had. So I parlayed it into my own pizzeria. And I've been there almost 29 years now. And it's been the foundation for me to raise a family and be successful.
What's the name again for people who want to stop in Malden?
Pizza Pizza in Malden on Pearl Street, Malden. PISA, Pizza Pizza.
There you go. Go ask for Joe. Good stuff.
and we opened the Pizza Burger Bar at Breakaway. The way we came back, it was we had to look at the menu and look at everything that went on, and we decided to open with called the Pizza Burger Bar, and it's filled with gourmet pizzas and burgers and milkshakes and bootsy shakes and buttermilk chicken sandwiches, and for the first month, which I can't do anything. I can't touch it. So you'll see me in the corner eating a salad. But it's been very successful to open with that menu.
Awesome. What's the toughest part about opening and running a pizza shop? I guarantee that's not the easiest business to run.
You know, the restaurant business, I've been on meetings all morning. It's going through a transformation. Back in the day, it was just get busy and everything was fine. Now you've got credit card fees, outdoor vendors, online ordering companies, third-party deliverers. There's a lot that goes into running a pizzeria or a small restaurant today. Payroll taxes and raised minimum wages. And if you look at a chain restaurant, they're automating a McDonald's, a Panera Bread, it's kiosk today. So there's a lot of challenges to that business, and COVID was the knockout punch for a lot of them, but it's redefining itself. And for guys like me, it's taken the time to really say, okay, how do we do this going forward and make it profitable? And that's the biggest challenge today. It's working. It's kind of a new wave of restaurants right now.
What did you learn through the pandemic? This was an absolute roller coaster for you in some ways that were more serious than a lot of us experienced. Let's face it. What did you learn through it all?
You have to lean back on your faith. You can't depend on the government to help you because you'll be lost. You got to get back to your roots of your faith and your family. You have to prioritize it, and it's, you know, with my health and everything this year, it's really got me back to sitting down with my wife and saying, okay, our family comes first. You know, it has to work for our family. If it doesn't work for our family, we seek a different direction, and really sitting down as a family and praying on it and saying, you know, leaning on your faith more than ever. It's been such a tough year for people and families, and I think it's a wake-up call that, you know, you can't take things for granted. You have to plan out a little bit better than you thought you did, and at the end of the day, you got to come home to your family and make sure that everything's good at home.
Yeah, a lot of stress on the family members too. I'm sure you guys have had a lot of thank yous and thanks for being there, and a lot of that going on here as we start to move out of this thing.
Absolutely.
Last question for me. Best career advice you ever got? You're an entrepreneur in a couple different ways. What's the best career advice you ever got?
You know, when I graduated college and I had dreams of being a stockbroker, I had a guy that I worked for in the restaurant business, and he looked at me, he said, "You're a knucklehead, come work for me, you're good at this." And I took his advice and came to work for him, and I found out that I was good at it, and I owned my own place. So, yeah, I kind of thought that a college degree would get me out of the trenches, and I realized that I enjoy being in the trenches.
Well said. Well, Joe Crowley, I am happy to see, sir, that you have your health. I'm happy to see that you have your place up and running and firing on all cylinders. I love hearing the live music going at night. It feels like normal in so many ways. It brings me a sense of joy to hear that party going on over there.
Nice. Nice. Well, thank you for having us, and Breakaway's going full steam ahead, so come by and see what we're doing over there.
I will make sure to do that myself. Joe Crowley, man, at the Breakaway in Danvers. Thanks for taking some time. I appreciate you.
All right. Sounds good.
See you, Joe.
Bye-bye.